In this episode, Jim and I are going to talk through what it looks like to take the customer through a process, through a selling journey and a customer buying journey, and not just about selling things immediately, boom, boom, must meet target by X time. We're focused on taking the customer through a journey, and Jim gets into details. He even shares a story of jumping on the phone with a friend and seeing that process laid out in real time. We role play. You are going to learn so much from this episode. We want to teach you how to rethink your sales, but I think when you listen to us more and more, you start to rethink way more than just your sales. Stay tuned. I think you're going to enjoy it.
How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I am joined by Jim Shorkey. Jim, something I love about what we teach in Rethink You 2.0 is helping people move toward a decision. You've talked many times about your process of helping someone make that car purchase journey. It seems like you're always leading them toward making a decision and never making them make a certain choice. You're understanding them and helping them move toward a decision instead of forcing something down their throat, per se. Why is that the case in the sense of really selling is about helping someone through a process versus just making something happen?
First of all, the process of selling is a process. That sounds redundant, right? But the process of selling is a process. And many people don't recognize that. And as a matter of fact, I'll go further. I was thinking about this today, pre-podcast. Everything in life is a process. Doesn't matter what it is. Everything, we just talked about going to the grocery store. So we go to the grocery store and we have a process. One of the things that you and I just mentioned, and Marshall, was park as far away from the grocery store as you can and then walk into the grocery store because that gives you more steps. And then you got to walk back out again. It's a good idea. So that could become a part of your grocery store process. And so when we talk about Rethink You 2.0, we talk about this thing called the strategic continuum. And if you think about the process in terms of the strategic continuum, we can have an A process, B process, C process, D process, or an F process, F being failure, A being success. And so if we do in fact have an F process and we follow that religiously, we're going to fail. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Now, if we can take it from F to D, we're going to be a little more successful. Still failing, but a little less severe. If we go to C, that's going to get us mediocrity. If we go to B, now we got something. And if we can get it to close to A, then we're going to do well. The second component of the strategic continuum is execution of said process. If we have an A plus process and you're executing that process 50% of the time, and I have a B process, but I'm executing my process 90% of the time, who's going to win?
Because if my process is at 50% or plus 50%, you're going to execute way more than I am, even with a less strong plan.
So it's a question of execution along with the right steps. In life, everything is a process. It's just a question of whether you got a good one or a bad one. If it is a bad process, then we want to stop executing. Let's change the process. But with a good process, we're going to get that execution. We always say, Rethink You 2.0, B to B plus process is the standard. 90% execution, preferably 100, but as close as we possibly can. So that's where we come up with close enough is good enough. So if we did have a B to B plus plan and we executed that plan at 90% plus, we're going to win.
Yep.
And then from there, we could win better by making the execution a little higher and making the process a little better. But we can sometimes get caught up in the minutia of trying to improve the process, and then we're off execution.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It gets confusing. So back to your question about tell me your question again.
I've seen you talk about moving the customer through a journey, not just saying, okay, here's the price. Do you want it? Yes or no?
And that becomes the process. So my process, the Jim Shorkey process, is when I meet the client, the first thing I want to do is make a good first impression. I want to have a really good expression on my face. I want to be dressed for success. I want to be clean from a hygiene point of view. I'm going to give them my card, which has my name on it and my contact information. They now know who I am because unfortunately in life, we give somebody our name and they forget it. Now, when a person that you meet forgets your name, does that make them more or less comfortable?
Less.
Think about it, gang. We've just done a dumb thing. We give them our name, they forget it, they're uncomfortable, just a little bit. And what I want to do, in addition to that, is I want to capture their name. Now, when people give me their name, I have a weakness. I'm not real good. I forget it. I just do. So I've developed an idea, which is very rudimentary. Let's role play, okay?
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing? My name's Jim Shorkey.
Oh, hi, I'm Derek Kelly. Nice to meet you.
Derek, would you mind if I wrote your name down? I have to tell you, I'm terrible with remembering names. I don't know. How do you spell your first name?
Derek.
And then Kelly?
Kelly, Kelly. Simple.
Wonderful. Okay, if I write that down? So now I have it. When I do that, it's a really little thing. But when I hand them my card and I write their name down, am I showing them that I care to a degree? It's a little step, okay? My next step in my process is, let's role play. Derek, you're here today looking for a car.
Yeah.
Would you mind if I ask you a few questions? We have probably right now around 1,000 cars on the lot. 1,000. They're everywhere. And I know you don't want to look at every single one of them, right? That would take forever.
Yeah.
So why don't we try to figure out a general range of what you want to look at?
Great.
And then we'll go look at those cars.
That makes
so
sense.
few questions, takes no more than 5 minutes. Is that okay? In
Absolutely.
addition to that, while I'm doing it, I'm going to take notes.
Yep.
Because again, I forget stuff, right? So in this process that we call automobile, buying the car, owning the car, down the road, history, your whole car relationship, if you can imagine that, what is most important to you?
Space.
Space. What is most important to you?
Safety. So similar to space, my wife's pregnant with our fourth, which is great, but we need space and we need our vehicle to be safe for our kids.
Safe. What is next most important to you?
I would say reliability. You hear all the time about engine failures or transmission issues. And so I just want the vehicle to be reliable. I don't want to get 50,000 miles in and it's junk.
I would take this as far as Derek wants me to take it. If it's 15, then fine. But we're going to stop at 3 for the purpose of this video. So you said space was number 1, safety was number 2, and reliability was number 3.
Yep.
So beyond the obvious, why is space so important to you?
I have a lot of kids and we want to travel and do trips. And so that takes space, right? Space for my things, my wife's things, our kids' things, right? If they want to bring extra things, space seems like a premium in the sense of you almost can't have enough of it.
Okay. In other words, it's really
Right.
important to you.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, how many children do you have?
We have 3 right now and a 4th on the way.
Congratulations. That's
thank you.
wonderful. And the names of your children?
Josiah
Josiah.
is going to be 9. Mirabelle is 7. And Ariel is 3.
That's lovely.
A boy and 2 girls right now.
Favorite place to travel?
Man, that's a tough one. We like to go down south because it's warmer. Florida is a favorite. We've been to Deep Creek a couple times. Really love Deep Creek, Maryland. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, those are probably some of our favorites. Florida, Deep Creek, those types of places.
Wonderful. Now, safety. Tell me why safety is so important to you.
Crash tests really matter, right? They say you get hit close to your home, maybe within 3 to 5 miles of where you live because you're paying less attention. And they say you're most likely to get T-boned on your left-hand side. Obviously, I'm the driver a lot of the time, so I want you to be safe, but I also want whatever child's sitting on that left-hand side to be safe.
Sounds like you've done a good bit of research on this. I'm hearing technology here. Is that the case?
Yeah, I really like to study and learn about the purchase I'm making.
I think that's brilliant. Good for you. And then lastly, beyond the obvious, you mentioned reliability. Why is reliability so important to you?
I think when they say the average person spends about $48,000 to $50,000 on a car, if I'm spending that amount of money on a vehicle, I want it to be reliable. I want to drive it until the wheels fall off.
Define reliability, I guess I should be
Yeah.
more point.
I think what reliability is, can this car last in the expected lifespan? Let's say
Gotcha.
100,000 miles, 150,000 miles, or 7 to 8 years. Can it last long enough for how long I want to drive it?
If I'm hearing you properly, you're going to put a lot of miles on this vehicle. And so you want it to do what it's supposed to do for that time.
Right. I don't expect it to go 25 years, but if I can be reasonable with it.
Okay, let's call timeout. So first of all, I want you to understand this is real. This is my process. And do you understand that Derek Kelly has just told me exactly how to sell him a car? I got to get the right car with space, reliability, and safety. And I have it. And because I know my inventory so well, I already know exactly where I'm going to move
Which is
this
not
thing.
something you talk a lot about. You know your product really well.
Oh, you better
So
believe I
can-
do.
You can slot me into, oh, I think this makes the most sense.
Marshall and I just had a conversation about a subject which we'll keep between he and I. But Marshall, does it sound like I know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Why?
I guess because you learned it.
I did my research. And I told you about a book. Did I not? And I can tell you about several more. Okay, so that's done. And we're going to proceed.
Yep.
And so I don't have to sell you a car today. I have to lead you in the right direction based on
Through
what
that
you told me.
process.
And when I'm all said and done, I'll say, now, Derek, you mentioned these 3 things when you first came in. Have we satisfied your goal, your desire? Are you satisfied that we've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish?
Yeah. So what do you think you're pulling down? Probably, and you know your inventory well.
I would think a minivan.
That's what I was.
I'm going to ask you, now, you had said these 3 things, and I'm going to make sure we covered that. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you're concerned about that maybe we left off? You would think and thinking, see, there are 2 more things, and I would cover those as well. Do you understand, folks? This guy is here to buy a car. That's why he's here. My job is to develop a relationship with him and the car and myself. And if I do these things successfully, I don't have to ask him to buy the car. He's going to want to buy the car because it's got everything he wants. The value is very high. And that's how this works. When you say high pressure tactics, no. Let's get into the process of serving the customer and doing the right things. So if my mentality is to be on outcome, that means I got to sell Derek a car today because I got to hit this certain bonus. No, I got to treat Derek the right way today because I got to hit this bonus. And I can do everything possible to do everything the right way. And so when it's all said and done, I'm now the manager switching roles. And I'm going to say to Mr. Salesman, did you do these things, these 10 things here? No, I did 6 of them. That's great. I'm glad you, what happened to the 4? Let's work on the 4. And that's how we're going to sell more cars. If we do the process the right way, then we're going to have a high rate of success. So I want to tell you a story. And this is totally off script. During the little bit of a break we took here today, I go to my phone, and the first thing I do is look to see, did I miss anything?
Yep.
I missed a call from a guy. And this guy is looking at a car, a Toyota. And he wants to know who I would recommend. But then there's a follow-up message. Jim, I got it handled. I found a guy, turns out, good friend of the family, great guy. Okay? So my job's done here, right?
No.
No, it's not. I called Rod directly from my phone in my bedroom. I'm walking around while we're taking our break. He's a good friend of mine. So I called and I said, how you doing? I'm glad to see you got taken care of everything. How's everything going?
Yep.
And first of all, did I interrupt anything important? So I got that accomplished. And I said, where are you right now? He said, I'm at Toyota in Greensburg. Anyways, I said, great, I'm glad to hear that. I said, are you being taken care of properly? Yes, I met this young man and he's wonderful. I said, where is he right now? He said, he went to the back. He's taking care of something with some service questions I have. He's back there now. I said, go find him. I want to talk to him. So he goes and finds him. True story. And I'm on the phone now.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to this fella. And this is a very good friend of mine. And I want to make sure you're taking good care of him. And he goes into a lot of conversation about Jim Shorkey and how much he even said to me. He said, it's very crazy how these things go. And remember, I'm just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Remember this. I'm just doing
taking care
the
of
right
the
thing. So now he's telling me how amazing I am. And I'm like, no, please. He says, I said, I was at the Christmas party. He said, I really wanted to come up and talk to you, but I got sidetracked with different people and I didn't get there. I feel bad about that. I really wanted to talk to you. I wanted to have a conversation. I said, let's have that conversation. So why don't we meet for coffee? And I said,
Come on, Jim. That's good.
He said, oh, man, would you do this? Yeah, of course I would. He said, that'd be great. I said, let's be clear here. I'm not going to call you. You have my number now. You got to call me. I'm not going to solicit you. I'm not going to sell you. You got to call me. And I'd be happy to sit down and talk about things.
Yeah.
So I said, now listen, there's one deal here. This is a very good friend of mine, very close friend. I got a deal this month on Amazon. I got 100 cans of whoop ass on Amazon for $500, and I bought all 100. If you don't take care of my friend here, I'm going to bring 2 of those cans up there and open them up on you. And we're talking, and he's laughing. It's just a standard Jim Shorkey joke. There's no such thing as a can of whoop ass. We all know that, but it's just a joke. And then I got Rod back on the phone. Now, I want you to just pause, breathe, relax. You're in a dealership called Jim Shorkey Toyota, and you're in the process of looking at a car. And you get on the phone with Jim Shorkey. How valuable is that to you?
Yeah.
Answer the question, Derek.
Really valuable because you know you're going to be taken care of.
Do you hear what I just did? The value goes up, okay?
Yep.
The value goes up relative to the price, becomes a better deal. The higher the value relative to the price, the better the deal.
Yeah.
And we can say, well, you can lower the price. Of course, there's some element of that as well, but it's limited. What's the limitation on the value that we can create?
Unlimited.
It's unlimited.
Yeah.
And so what did I just do? I made an impression. He's already impressed.
Right.
But I guarantee you, he's more impressed than anybody that was around.
Right.
It was Jim Shorkey.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah. Wow. And he'll tell that story. In the meantime, not only did I make a great impression on Ron, I said, by the way, you owe me a visit. You owe me a visit. I'm waiting because he's a good friend of mine. And we visit and we hang out and we talk about things.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
That's great.
Now I have another opportunity. Please listen to me. I have another opportunity to help one more very important person. I'm asking in return nothing. I just want to help. And if I can help this young man in his journey in automobile business, then I am indeed blessed. Yeah. And I told him point blank, he said, I'd love to learn from you. I said, let me tell you something. I'll learn a lot more from you than you will from me.
That's so
and that's
good.
really the truth.
Such a good posture because you're willing to learn from.
It's a heart posture.
Yeah.
It is. It's a heart posture. Yeah. It's a heart posture. It's not a brain posture. It's a heart posture. Yes, I'm using my brain right now, but I'm putting my heart right in the.
Yeah.
So I'm vulnerable. I'm exposed. I don't know anything about this fella.
You're not coming in as arrogant. You're not saying I know everything. Just learn from me.
Lord, no.
Yeah. Guys, you can hear it in Jim's voice and his emotion and what he's teaching about how he's taking people through a process of a sale, not just selling with high pressure and urgency. And I think you've heard so many nuggets. If you go back and listen to the last episode about not focusing on the outcome, here we're rethinking sales and saying, don't just focus on selling this thing as fast as possible. Take care of the customer. These are valuable moments. A part of the reason we do this show is to help you guys retrain your brain on how to think about sales. You can read so many books, Selling with Intimidation. Not a fan.
I don't like that. I don't like it.
That's not who we are. You can read a lot of books that are, if this is the objection A, say B, right? We don't really play those games. Yeah. And that's why we want to help you rethink sales, to put the customer first, to focus on your process, and you'll see the outcomes. Jim has sat with so many different folks where he's seen this process come into place. I think of our friend Kevin Price. I think of others along the way where you've taught them this process that you're learning for free on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. So please, if this is helpful, let us know in the comments below. And Jim,
I do have a comment for you.
What did you have to add?
So I was recommended this book by a good friend of mine, Selling Through Intimidation. And I said, I don't like it. How about if we change it to Selling Through Love? I thought he's recommending the book, so he obviously thinks that's a good idea. And he had no idea where I was coming from, and that's okay. But I want to sell through love.
Yeah.
I want to sell through 3 ideas. Love the customer, love the team, keep it very humble. And that's what I'm going to talk to this young man about in his journey. He's young. I think he's in his early 20s. I think he gave me a number. It was low 20s, 20, 23 maybe. I don't recall exactly. But and I'm just going to be a friend. And listen, I'm not involved with the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group. I got to be careful that I don't contradict some things that they're telling the team they want to do. So before we have the conversation, I'll talk to the right people to make sure that's okay with them. If not, then not.
Wow. Good stuff, Jim. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Let us know in the comments below how this impacted you. Jim talking through how he's rethinking sales, not just focused on sell this by tomorrow at X time, but really focus on training people correctly and then taking the customer through the appropriate buying journey. So thank you guys. Let us know in the comments below what you enjoyed from this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.